Welcome into the 90th episode of the Sabremetrix podcast. My name is Bill. Alongside me, as always, is Walt. Walt, how you doing today, man?
Doing pretty good. Looking forward to discussing some Sabres hockey. I mean, season's starting in just a few days.
Sure is. And speaking of the season starting in just a few days, Thursday, much like tonight, which we just decided before we were going to record, but we're going to be live streaming. So Thursday, home opener, come hang out, probably start a little bit before 7 p.m. Man, it's actually changing up kind of my schedule for what we were going to talk about today because we might do some bold predictions Thursday if we don't get to them today. What else, Walt? What else do we got going on here? We're going to be announcing, kind of our general schedule for the season as well. That'll be coming out. So yeah, a lot of fun stuff going on here. Really happy that it is finally the week of Sabres hockey. And I mean, best thing we can hope for is a really good game on Thursday when we're live streaming. So Walt, with that said, anything else that you wanted to talk about before we get into some of the topics that we're talking about today?
And nothing too much. I just feel like that Bills loss on Sunday makes me even more excited for the Sabres season. I mean, maybe it won't get the bad taste out of your mouth, but who knows? Maybe they'll surprise us and win a few to start the season.
I'm of the mind where it's just like you feel bad about the Sabres or about the Bills loss. Yeah, don't worry. Sabres hockey starts this week, and everyone's like, "Oh no!" So I'm looking forward to it, man. I really am. No matter what happens this season, is going to be interesting. I've been saying that for a while, and it holds true. First interesting thing that we can actually talk about: the roster got released today. Let's get this pulled up here as well. Is there anyone that really surprised you, especially? There is injuries, and we will be going over that, but I just wanted to get your first take on the lineup that we're seeing here.
Yeah, well, I don't really think there's too many surprises on here. I think it's surprising maybe how many injuries there are to start the season. I don't think many of us were really expecting that. I mean, guys like Greenway are hurt all the time, so maybe we're expecting that in some way, but like Kesselring being out week to week. UPL's been fairly injury-free since his junior days, and, having him being out for who knows how long isn't that great. So I think the injuries are a little surprising, but I think in terms of some of the other guys, I mean, maybe Mason Geertson's a little bit of surprise because he hasn't been an NHL player the past few seasons, and he's not exactly a prospect. Like, he's someone that's been like just firmly an AHL player the past few years, and he's on the Sabres opening night lineup. Tyson Kozak, he lost his waivers exemption status, so it's nice having him on the roster. Like, who knows if he gets claimed, if he gets sent down, but it's nice having him up on Buffalo for now. And then Colton Ellis today, I mean, the new waiver claim, I feel like he's going to be a pretty exciting piece because I don't really think many of us were too excited about what we saw from Georgiev in the preseason or what we saw from Georgiev last season. Colton Ellis, 25-year-old goalie, he's put up, over a 920 save percentage his last two pro seasons, played in the AHL, a little bit of the ECHL 2 years ago. I think that's a nice piece to have. Even though he doesn't have any NHL games yet, he was a solid AHL goalie. And, he has the makings of a guy who, can be a piece long-term. Like, I feel like it's way too early to say that now, but unlike someone like Georgiev, he's still young enough and has enough potential where he can be a longer-term piece for the Sabres. And that's not something you could say about either Alex Lyon or Alexander Georgiev due to their age.
Well, there you have it. There's Walt's take on the initial roster. I think it's time for us to maybe talk about the injuries that we're seeing on this roster as well, and that might explain some of the guys that have made the team so far. But the big ones we're looking at are Jordan Greenway, Michael Kesselring, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, and Owen Power. Do have some updates on them specifically for UPL. He will start the season on injured reserve. He's on a week-to-week basis. Power, he was sidelined from a practice, so wasn't from any games, unlike Kesselring. But for Power, he strained something, and he's been skating. He's should be back for opening night, but I would assume if he's not back for opening night, he will be ready for the weekend's game, I believe, in Boston. Michael Kesselring obviously got hurt during that preseason game. That really stinks. After aggravating an injury he's been dealing with throughout camp. So he's been put on injured reserve, and he's now on a week-to-week basis as well. And then Greenway, we already knew for weeks that it's probably starting to skate a little bit here and there, but probably give him another week-to-week basis on him as
I
well.
think he was at the Bills game yesterday.
Yes, he was. Yeah, with Darlene. Yeah, the whiteout. Wish the Bills could have won for those fellows, but wasn't meant to be. My one concern with this injury report is Kesselring and the specific wording of after aggravating an injury that he's been dealing with throughout camp. That is a terrible way for him to start his Sabres tenure. It's not his fault, but it's a terrible way to start his tenure here in Buffalo. A lot of eyes are going to be on him and how he performs and how Josh Doan performs in comparison to JJ Peterka. That's just natural. Different positions, different players, but it's just the way it's going to be. That really concerns me. Michael Kesselring was supposed to be the partner for Owen Power. Both those guys, as of right now, are technically on injured reserve. Look at the defense that are on there right now. Jacob Bryson for like the 5th straight seasons on the Sabres. Bowen Byram, Rasmus Dahlin, cool, great. Ryan Johnson, glad to see that he's made it, and hopefully he has some kind of impact. Mattias Samuelsson, of course, and Connor Timmins. It's not great. It's not great. This is my issue with this team is any kind of injuries to any kind of important player. Yes, of course, you're never going to be able to replace a Thompson, Dahlin, players like that, Owen Power. You're never going to be replacing them. But when you look at what they're rolling out now, it's not super inspiring. I understand injuries happen, but are you as concerned as I am, especially with a nagging injury that's been going on throughout camp and then he was able to re-aggravate it in a game? What happens if that happens 3 weeks into the season? That's my concern. So, wanted to get your maybe your level of concern for each player, 1 to 10, of how concerned you are, not only for the immediate future, but also long-term throughout the season. So if you wanted to go down a list of Greenway, Kesselring, UPL, Carson Meyer is just a AHL guy, so we're not going to worry about that too much. Hopefully he does better, but we'll just skip him and go to Owen Power as well. So 1 to 10, 1, not worried about it at all. 10, hair's on fire. Walt, what do you have for those guys that are on injured reserve?
I'd say for me, Greenway's probably a 1. I think that guy could be replaced by other fourth liners. I mean, he is a good PK guy, but I don't think him being injured long term is going to affect much. I feel like most fourth line guys in the NHL could be good PK guys. Michael Kesselring, I'm going to go like a 6 or 7 there, just because I think the defense group, it doesn't look that great on paper right now, at least in terms of the healthy guys. That looks like, just more of what we saw the past few seasons, even when someone like Power comes back. So, yeah, for him, a 6 or 7. So I think they're really expecting him to play a large role this season. I don't necessarily think he has to be forced on a pair with Owen Power, because I think Owen Power is an $8 million per year guy. That should be a guy that could play with anyone. Like, if you're making that much money and you need a specific partner, you shouldn't be making $8 million a year. But I think Power's talented enough where it won't matter if Kesselring's out long term. I guess it's more of just like the downstream effects of having a guy like Kesselring out in terms of impacting the pair. So that's why I give a 6 or 7, especially with the lingering factor. UPL, I guess, probably, Colton Ellis, I think, softens the blow a little bit today, even though he's completely unproven at the NHL level. But, UPL being week to week, I think that's a 6 or 7. I think even though he didn't have the best year last year, having this many question marks with the goaltending heading into the season is a little scary. So I'll go 6 or 7 there. And the fact it's week to week. Owen Power, hopefully, like, he doesn't have something that's lingering. But yeah, I'll go like 2 or 3 there just because it's not that serious. But he's someone where if he does miss significant time, that's like a huge blow to that Sabres defense. Even if Kesselring comes back healthy, that's not a great defense, because we've seen before Byram can't carry his own pair at all. Like, when we've seen Byram have to go in his own pair and try to carry it, like, he still gets the points, but they get absolutely crushed at 5-on-5, and it's just not a pretty sight. So I think if you have power Darlene out long term, that's kind of the poison pill for this team's roster this season. So yes, I mean that's kind of the run through on the injured reserve guys.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much all of those ratings. I might even bump up a Kessel ring a little bit higher, and especially like a UPL a little bit higher. I might go like maybe in the 7 to 8 range, especially for UPL, because we can't do this. Give him a game, he has to get pulled after 2 periods, and then he's out for a couple weeks, and then a couple weeks goes by, and they try to force him back in. Next thing you know, like some kind of continuity needs to be established there. And when it comes to continuity, that means consistent players. Alex Lyon, sure, fine, good enough, I guess. It's more of a 1B, but whatever. If he's the starter, he's a starter. But Georgiev, I remember saying on our last episode, like, hey, you guys took a flyer on this guy at one point, was a good goaltender. Good on you. It hasn't worked, at least so far. Maybe things changed in the regular season, but it hasn't looked good in the preseason. So, yeah, I mean, getting Colton Ellison, great, but unproven. Just because you do it in the AHL doesn't mean you can do it in the NHL, all that jazz. So, yeah, I'm definitely concerned. Kesselring, like I said before I threw it over to you, what happens if this keeps popping up? Re-aggravation. Now he's out for 3 weeks, and then he's out for another chunk of games here and there, and it's not conducive to having a successful season. Now, if the guys can step up in his stead, great. But I'm very much on the Sabres need the best chance of making the playoffs on paper. And that's kind of where I got a little upset this offseason. It's because it's like, look, like this team could make the playoffs for sure. And we will be going over predictions and stuff like that. I think I'm a little bit more bullish on the Sabres than I was previously, a little bit more. But it's almost to the point where, like, not overextend, but get such a good lineup going and so much like solid competition that if a guy goes down or two, like you're still good. But now it's a couple guys go down and you're like, oh boy, what happens if Tuck goes down? If Tage goes down, you're really in trouble. And I understand the concept of maybe score less goals, but also prevent as many goals that were going in. But that's just, it lessens the chance of making the playoffs. And that's obviously the only goal that we have here. Once they make the playoffs, everything's fine. But it's you have a decent roster on paper now. What happens when 3-4 injuries pop up and it's mid-December and the guys aren't feeling good? That's concerning. And they have, I'm pretty sure, really tough December specifically. I understand I just use that as an example, but they have a tough December. So I am definitely concerned about that, especially if these things are starting in training camp. Again, we saw what happened with Darlene last season. I don't know. They have the depth enough to fill out like a serviceable NHL team, but the skill depth is where I get a little concerned, whether that's the top 6 or the top 4. So, yeah, I'm a little concerned. Say that once, I'll say it again. But Walt, let's talk about some fun stuff, shall we? Maybe some upgrades around KBC. Let's go KeyBank Center. Walt, I'm going to let you kind of take this over, show the people what you're excited about, or at least what's going on at KBC. A lot of it's food and drink related, but that's half the reason why you go to the game. Have a beer, have a thing of pizza, and there you go.
Yeah, well, I know we talked a lot about like the concession items on here, and I think one of the important things too is just kind of like the prices, and right here, yeah. How do I add this to the stage? I'm so not used to this.
We're talking this.
There we go. So we got that added to the stage there, and it's nice having like for season ticket holders. Not many of them, but I mean, for the ones that are there, it's nice to be able to get like stuff for a good price. I mean, $5 pretzel, $5 nachos, $5 bottomless popcorn, $4 hot dog. It's just not terrible prices. So if you're a season ticket holder, and a lot of season ticket holders now, I mean, I don't want to say the Sabres won't be good this year, but they should be at least a little bit more fun. But a lot of the season ticket holders now are really just at the games just to hang out most of the time. And if you're at the games to hang out most of the time, it's nice having affordable concession prices and kind of making it feel at home and, just more affordable for families to go to games that are season ticket holders. So that's definitely good to see. And then,
Yeah, not to interrupt, but we have Matthew in the comments, and most comments when we're doing live podcasts we will get to at the end. But it is pretty funny that he says, I'm a Rangers fan, and these these numbers don't exist at MSG. I
yeah.
personally just find that funny. I apologize. Thank you, Matthew, for listening and tuning in and commenting. But Walt, please go ahead. I just found that funny.
Oh, should we let's toss the chicken parm one on there. Toss that one on the stage.
This one scares me. All right, this one's frightening.
Yeah. Like apparently Tage likes chicken parm, so they made. I mean, I feel like Sabres are so into like these like 2 foot long food items. There can't be anything that's more inconvenient to eat at a hockey game where you're kind of stuck in a seat than a 2 foot long food item that's like going on to the guy next to you. So yeah, this one's interesting. I mean, I don't really know the thought behind this because it's like you definitely need like 4 people if you're gonna order this thing.
They're hoping you bring some friends. You got some family around. Everyone dig in. It's cut into 4, so everyone gets their little 6-inch slice or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
it's not easy
terrifying.
to get. Yeah, like to get 4 people to go in on a chicken parm sandwich though. Like, you got to be like asking around and being
That's
like,
commitment.
"You want to go in on this thing?" And like,
Look,
someone could be like, "Oh, I don't want chicken parm."
let's say you buy yourself a ticket. You're just gonna go. You're gonna go watch a game on a Tuesday. You start talking to the people around you. If I get a chicken parm, you want in on this chicken parm? You can do that.
Yeah.
You can start making friends via chicken parm, which I think that's pretty much how all great friendships start. Um, but yeah, like it's just that's so much food, man. I'm not that kind of eater. I know there's gonna be some people trying to finish that themselves. Walt, I don't know. Maybe we'll have to do a behind the scenes food challenge with you. But that's a lot of chicken parm, man.
Yeah, I know. And that's like not if you eat like a chicken parm sub, like you automatically feel like you're about to like pass out. So I mean, I can't imagine like finishing off one of these at a game, like pregame, and then trying to watch an entire Sabres hockey game, a full 60 minutes after finishing a 2 foot long chicken parm sub. You'll probably have to go to the
Sabres.
ER.
That's right. Yeah, probably. Sabres versus Seattle on a Tuesday in January, and you got some guy snoozing in the 300 section, not because he drank too much, because he downed an entire 2-foot chicken parm. Classic comment here from Bip. When is Rob Ray going to eat one of these subs on the broadcast? Probably when they throw them up in the 300s again to show off how they can't sell tickets worth their life. That's probably when they'll do it. They'll get them hooked up, a nice 2-foot chicken parm, maybe get them some of the, the Cracker Jack and the nachos and the bottomless popcorn. It's going to be a wild time for Rob up there. So hopefully the team isn't bad enough that that's the case, but we do know that it does work, and Rob Ray is willing to eat on camera. So we'll see if Walt's willing to eat on camera, because we're going to get him behind one of these 2-foot-long monstrosities. And I'm to the point where, like, if you saw someone trying to like do that, you'd feel bad for them. Like, like Joey Chestnut and stuff like that.
Oh
And you
yeah.
watch him, like, I don't feel bad for you because you're doing it to yourself, but you're like, are you going to be okay? That's what if someone's trying to do that at a Sabres game, I'm just going to go up to them and be like, you going to be all right? Is this going to be a problem? Like you said, he's probably going to pass out in the 300 section or whatever. So
Yeah.
There's your chicken parm sandwich. Shall we get to the beer saber?
Yeah, let's go to the beer saber.
All right, here we go. The beer saber. Unfortunately, for the people that are listening just to the audio of this, apologies, but good reason to go onto YouTube and subscribe or watch the live stream back. But we have here a beer saber.
Yeah, so this beer saber. I mean, it's like if you've seen like the plastic baseball bats that they have at some games. I know the Sabres did a plastic hockey stick beer last game. Like this one, for those listening on Spotify, it's got like the yellow base, like the yellow handle to a sword, and then you put the beer in like this thing that goes up to the top that's shaped like a sword. You're pretty much drinking beer from this sword with a handle. And I think it's a great idea because when sports teams are bad, like the only ways you can make the games fun are getting like a bunch of like drunken rowdy fans
That's
to like spice up like a Wednesday night game
that's
against
true.
Columbus. So I think the beer saber will encourage more beer drinking. I guess really the only downside is like these things are like pretty inconvenient to drink, like not too dissimilar than the chicken parm. Because if there's someone sitting in front of you, I tried doing the hockey stick beer they had during one of the Christmas games last year, and it's like you're like holding the base of it to make sure it doesn't hit like the guy's head sitting in front of you, like when you're drinking out of it, and it's so hard not to like spill it all over your jersey too. So it's
Yeah.
like not the most convenient thing, but it's pretty cool. And like even when they were doing like the hockey stick beers, like there was a line like wrapped around the concourse during like the second intermission to buy those things. So I feel like having something like cool and unique like this is, something fun to have at Sabres games.
Yes, it sure is. But at the same time, do I want a bunch of drunk people running around with makeshift swords?
Yeah, someone's definitely gonna take like a hit to the face with one
Yeah.
of those.
Yeah. Someone's getting one right between the eyes, says the wrong
Yeah.
thing. Oh, yeah. And then bam, plastic sword right in the face.
Yeah.
Again, like cool concept for sure. Awesome. Great collector's item, I'm sure. But yeah, let's go ahead and not treat them as actual swords people because let's
That
not
could be a
ruin the
problem.
that's what I'm saying, man. Like,
Yeah.
not trying to be a downer here, but at the same time, I could, and that's the thing. If you swing that thing, let's pretend like these guys are playing fighting. You got some leftover beer residue. Now the beer's flying all over. You're hitting some lady in
Yeah.
the face. Like it's, we don't like that. So, yeah.
That edge on that thing too could definitely give someone
You see that
stitches
thing?
if you hit him right. Yeah.
That's right. So again, any kind of what could be perceived as a weapon to people that are
Yeah.
literally drinking out of it is usually something that gives me a little bit of pause. But if you can control yourself, have a ball. It looks like a lot of fun. Is there anything else when it comes to the stadium besides the sign? Sorry about that, Walt.
Yeah,
Is there
it's
anything?
tragic that those weren't changed.
Yeah. Hopefully, water pipes don't burst and team
Yeah.
onto the fans showing up Thursday as well. That'll be something
Disney
to
on
talk about on the
ice.
live stream. Is there anything else when it comes to just the overall game experience that you wanted to talk about before we move on?
I mean, I do want they keep some stuff hidden to like opening nights sometimes.
That's
So
true.
who knows? Maybe they'll surprise us with something. But yeah, the signage not being changed, that's a major bummer. Like I hate walking through that concourse and being reminded of like the Cody McCormick era or like whoever
Ugh,
was on the team back then.
yeah, not great. The Zenon Konopka,
Yeah.
era of Sabres. Okay, I'll ask you this. We'll see if we want to do it or not. We're only 23 minutes in, which is pretty nice. We're going to try to keep this under an hour, but do you want to do bold predictions and our final prediction if the Sabres will make the playoffs or not? Do you want to do that now, or do you want to do that before the game on Thursday while we are live streaming then?
Yeah, let's just do it all now.
All right, let's do it all now. A couple bold predictions that Walt and I wanted to come up with. I still need to work on one of them. I do have one, but I need another. So, Walt, I'm going to throw it to you, put the spotlight on you. If you can give us just a couple, as many bold predictions as you want, but maybe a couple would be nice.
So I mean, some bold predictions. Thinking about it now, I have a new one today. I think Colden Ellis becomes a Sabres starter at some point this season.
Oh.
And I don't think it'll be because he's the best available, the worst options. I think he legitimately has a chance to be a surprise NHL starter. And a lot of this hinges on UPL's health because UPL gets the benefit of the doubt a lot of times to be the starter. But I mean, you're talking about a goalie like Alex Lyon who has had a few good seasons, but I mean, he's aging in the wrong direction. I mean, I guess we all are, but he's like entering almost his mid or how old is he? Like 32? Like I just feel like for goalies,
Yeah, something
the
like
game
that.
doesn't get easier the older you get. And I don't it, I know I'm saying this as a Sabres fan, and we kind of got spoiled by Reimer coming out of nowhere and being really good and Craig Anderson. So, Alex Line can make me eat my words, but I just think a younger goalie coming in, someone like Colton Ellis, I think he has a chance to maybe surprise. So that's bold prediction number one. Do you want to go with your bold prediction?
Yeah, I'll go with my bold prediction. My confidence in this, not the highest of any bold prediction, but I'm going. I think I might change just to make it a little bit more bold and see if I can, ruffle some feathers. 35 goals for Jack Quinn. Yeah, 35 goals
That's
for Jack
bold.
Quinn. That's bold. I was gonna go. I was like 25. No, that seems attainable. I was stuck at 30. And you know what? Let's ruffle some feathers. 35 goals for Jack Quinn. I'm really hoping it works out. The Sabres obviously believe that he will, because they keep talking about, just the meeting that we had at the end of the season where he was like, I wasn't good. That really showed us. I'm like, okay, I'm putting my faith into you guys then. Fine, let's do this. So Jack Quinn, 35 goals. That's one of my bold predictions. Well, what's your next one?
My next one, I'm going to go with, I think Zach Benson, 70 plus points. I think that's my bold prediction. I think, and we saw the Norris Tage connection working well in the preseason. They weren't playing the best teams every night, but even the nights they were, they still look pretty good. And I think once Benson's fully healthy and is on that line, I think he has really good chemistry with Tage. Didn't really show up on the score sheet last year when they were playing together, but I think the older he gets, the more mature he gets. I mean, the more that line clicks. Even just being out there with those two guys and being on ice when they score, your odds of getting a secondary assist or something shoot way up. So I think Benson's 70 points. I think it could be a possibility. Now, a lot of this hinges on power play opportunity. So I guess my hope with this prediction is that if he's cooking at 5-on-5, he eventually gets promoted to that top power play unit, because I think that's a place, he belongs, because he gets to the dirty areas of the ice. He's able to draw defenders and make plays under pressure. I just think that's someone you want in either the slot or net front on your power play, someone that's willing to fight through contact and still create. So I think Benson's due for a big year, and I think he'll be on power play one before the season ends.
Okay. I would like to see Benson on power play one. Give it a shot, especially if the original power play lineup isn't working. For everyone that's been commenting in, we appreciate it. Thank you for listening. We're going to get to it a little bit later, but we are starring them, and we'll make sure we get to all of them. So we definitely appreciate it. My second bold prediction is Josh Norris. So people say if we can get him back to form of the season where he had 35 goals, 55 points, he played 66 games that season. My bold prediction is he plays more than that, 67 games. But yes, I'm thinking Josh Norris plays more than 66 games this season. Points wise, that one's tougher. That I was just happy that I was able to get something for Norris. I'm gonna go, depending on where he play. I'll say, since we're doing bold predictions, and hopefully, people don't hold us for these to actually come true, I'll say 60 points, 66 plus games and over 60 points. So that will be a career record on both ends. Again, bold predictions, we're being bold. Walt, you got any others? Because I think I got one more. Or actually, I actually might have two more.
Yeah, I guess I have one more. I mean, for this one, I'm going back and forth on what my last one should be. So I think for my last one, I'll go kind of an easy one. I think Constantinius, I think he's a full-time NHLer by the time the season ends. I just think
Okay.
this forward group, and like you brought up with, if there's a few injuries, it could change everything. I really think if there's one or two injuries, at least to key guys in this forward group, you're going to have to look for some guys in Rochester that can maybe raise the ceiling a little bit. So
Okay.
I think Constantinius plays a mature game, and I think once he gets the opportunity, he won't let go of it. And I think he has a really good chance to be a full-time NHLer by the end of this season.
Okay. All right. That's a good one. I like that. I like that a lot. That was a little bit out of left field. Wasn't expecting that one. Try this one on for size. Actually, well, this one might be a little bit. I don't know if it's necessarily bold because I think we saw the underlyings this summer after he moved here, but Josh Doan over 40 points. I think that's attainable for him, especially again with those underlying numbers that he had. He's getting himself to good areas, and you just got to finish. Whether that is him putting the puck in the net or just causing chaos and maybe a teammate puts the puck in the net and he's able to get assist. I'm just going to go 40 points for Josh Doan. And my last one, just because this one's a lot of fun, and man, I would love to see this. How about 80 points for Rasmus Dahlin? He had
I like it.
he had 68 last season in 73 games. Remember, he was out for quite a bit there. 17 goals, 51 assists. To say that he can get 80 points in 82 games. Again, a lot of these point totals that we've done over the past years, I remember saying this many times, but it's all under the assumption these guys play 82 games. Obviously, it's not necessarily realistic, but you can't predict injuries and stuff like that. So, yeah, 80 points, almost a point per game. Definitely attainable for him. But even if he does miss 5 games or whatever, or something like that, who knows? Takes a shot off the foot in the Olympics. Please don't happen. But if it does, I'm going to go 80 points for Darlene. So there's our bold predictions for the season. Nothing too crazy, but hopefully something to chat about. And maybe we'll revisit at the end of the season and see how it turns out. Or if Jack Quinn gets like 13 goals, maybe I don't want to come back to this. So, let's do finally our final prediction for the NHL playoffs. Will the Buffalo Sabres make it this season? Walt, what do you say? I know we did kind of like a percentage last week, but this is what people are going to hold you to. Right? If you say no and they make it, we're coming after you, me included. But if please go ahead.
I guess I kind of have a cop-out answer. I mean, I think in my heart, I think they have a good chance to make it to the playoffs, but realistically, I think they're close. I think they're like an 87, 89 point team in my mind. Like I think they're going to be right on the fringe, but I don't know if there's enough there. And just all the injury stuff and the pretty much every goalie they have being somewhat unproven as a full-time starter, it makes me just a little concerned. So yeah, I'm gonna go like 87, 88 points right on the fringe.
I don't know. Maybe someone gets hot. Maybe they're able to get some more loser points. That was a thing that we talked about. Like, you guys got to at least get this thing to overtime. If you're going to lose, at least get it to overtime. I'm going to go around 91 points. I'll say 91 points. Whether that makes the playoffs or not, I'm not exactly sure. That's kind of where I feel most comfortable. If I go to like 92 and above, that's where I'm like, I feel like I'm being a little bit of a homer here. Do I want the Sabres to make the playoffs? Oh my God. Yes, I do. Absolutely. And I think last week or maybe the week before, I said maybe around 40% chance, maybe around like 45 at this point. Again, it's just the unproven. Like, you guys haven't done it in the past. So until you do it, like next year, if they make the playoffs this year and next year, I'm going to be like 75%, 80% because they've done it. We've seen it. Just haven't seen it with this team. And I just don't know. Injuries or if things get tough and they start to crumble, it's going to break my heart. But we've seen it before, and I'm kind of going off past. So yeah, I still think they can make the playoffs. And I also find myself maybe overvaluing some other teams that they're going against, either in the Atlantic or just in the Eastern Conference in general. Florida's having injury issues. We want to talk about injury issues. Holy crap. Losing Barkov for the entire season. That sucks. He's one of my favorite players to watch. Boston's going to fall off. Tampa, I don't know. Or we assume Boston will fall off. Toronto, they'll probably be pretty good. But Detroit, Ottawa, Montreal, I'm not sure. Maybe it goes really well for them. Maybe it doesn't. So same thing with the Sabres. Maybe it goes really well. Maybe it doesn't. I'm really kind of on the fence, but my heart says they will make the playoffs. But my head says they'll be in the mix, and it just depends on some other teams. But I think that's probably it for our predictions, bold predictions, stuff like that. Is there anything else that you really wanted to cover before maybe we hop into some comments here? Appreciate everyone listening so far and following along. But is there anything else before our live stream on Thursday for the home opener that you wanted to cover?
Well, I saw the one comment, the Sabremetrix podcast, who we voted for in
Yep.
the goal
Yep.
song vote.
Yep.
That's something I kind of forgot about. I mean, I did vote and I voted for was Swords of 1,000 Men or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I don't think it's like the best song, but I think it somewhat relates to the Sabres, and it's got a catchy enough tune after to make sense as a goal song. And I think it can be unique to the team. I just think, every time we touch, and that just reminds me of like a Jeff Skinner goal song, and those were good, but like only in the right situations. And then I think "Kickstart My Heart" is just so like generic. Like I feel like
Yeah.
that's like a goal song they'd have in like NHL 08 if they don't have rights to other songs, and they'll just make that like the generic goal song for every team. Like it's just
Okay.
too generic for me.
So my vote, I actually didn't vote to be completely honest with you because, and I'm sorry, I don't want to be a downer. I This is bad. I dread having "Every Time We Touch" as our goal song because 5-1 game to Columbus, or like a 5-0 game to Columbus. This team's getting their their butts kicked.
Yeah.
Halfway through the third period, a goal goes off of Jordan Greenway's button, and next thing you know, you're hearing "Every Time We Touch." Like, I'm not trying to be a downer. If that's what the people want, have fun. It's a goal song. Who really cares? I'm more of a kickstart my heart kind of person. That's just a little bit more me. No, that's probably going to ruffle some feathers like our bold predictions, but that's where I stood on the goal song. Whatever it is, who cares? Does it really matter? Not really, but I'm sorry. Every time we touch it, it does feel kind of like a Jeff Skinner thing. He's gone. Just, I don't know. Didn't sit as well as maybe some other songs. So sorry to the fans, but I think every time we touch
Yeah, I
is
mean, yeah, I don't think you're too wrong with that. Yeah, like I mean, like you said, I think it really depends on like how good this team is. Because I think there's some
that's
songs
true.
where
Yeah.
if this team's like blowing other teams out, or it's like every time we touch could be pretty fun. And like I love Victor Olofsson's goal song, like the ABBA song, like "Gimme
Oh
Gimme."
yeah.
Like I
That's good.
felt that
Yeah,
one because I mean I feel like
I've
Olofsson
gotten with
like
better.
scored like OT winners and stuff all the time, and he
Yeah.
had that goal song. So I feel like it was always like fun to hear. And I think "Let Me Clear My Throat," like I don't think that was a
Mm,
terrible goal song, but it's like the team surrounded by it was just
yeah.
so
It's
depressing to watch where it completely ruined it.
very performance driven. Every time we touch could be the next, the song that they play in what, like Chicago and Toronto and all these other places that, have had a little bit more success because, you kind of gravitate towards that song because of the team that was involved with it. So totally understand that too. Let's hope if it's every time we touch, the Sabres are great. And can you imagine? But if you're getting your butt kicked and it's 5-2 and the Sabres put up another one, it's 6-2. Next thing you know, every time we touch comes up.
Yeah.
Holy crap. You're a grown man. You're a professional athlete. You are better at hockey than pretty much everyone you know is at anything else. You just got the sixth goal rung up on you. It's a tough day in Buffalo. Next thing you know, you hear "Every Time We Touch." I get it. That's pretty
Yeah.
funny. So, like, for the comedic value, I do like that. I respect that. Let's get to some other comments. This is in reference to the signage. Navy signage because they couldn't decide between royal blue and black, so they just mixed them. I mean, obviously, it's not the case, but that's hilarious to think of that. Yeah, that's kind of a stick in your craw,
Yeah,
if you
that's
will.
kind of something I don't like about the Sabres branding too, is that I mean, I love the goat head and I love their like blue and gold jerseys, but I feel like when they mix and match the gear too much, like sometimes a player will wear like a blue and gold undershirt underneath like the goat head
Yeah,
jerseys and like vice versa.
that's
And
true.
it's like black and red and blue and gold really don't mesh well together. Like they're fine when they're separate, but together they're not that great. So yeah, I mean that's just something I wanted to throw out there. Just a pet peeve of mine.
Fair enough. We have two different opinions as well. Quinter will not hit 20, unfortunately. That's going to look really bad for my bold predictions. But we have someone saying it's a bounce back year for 22. So I would be very interested to see maybe like a point total, maybe goal total from people, whether it's right here on the comments, or maybe tomorrow after people listen, whatever it may be. Maybe just some predictions that you guys have as well, because I'm really interested to see, kind of maybe not the consensus, but just how people are feeling about different players. Because like you just saw there, some people high on Quinter, some people aren't. So we'll see. Really looking forward to just kind of like the narratives that get set before the season, how they play out during the season. Players can't really determine, what narrative gets set about them. But I'm really looking forward to see, can Jack Quinn actually bounce back? It's people have kind of been giving him a little bit of an easier time because it does take a little bit longer when it comes to a torn Achilles. But does he bounce back? Does he not? Who's he playing with? Does it maybe he's not getting all the points, but maybe a line mate's doing really well and he has part of that too. So I'm really interested, just for the sake of any kind of narrative that we can talk about as well. I mean, selfishly, but hopefully they're good narratives and the team's winning. A lot of every time we touch is playing. Is there any other comments we want to keep going? Man, you guys are really flying tonight. Play the shout song. That'd be great. Would you? How about like a shout song? I saw someone just be like, let's just go back to Song 2 by Blur, the classic. Like, not trying to bring up the whole goal song conversation again, but something I feel like if the Bills and Sabres had something that could be like intertwined in that way, that'd be pretty cool. Is that something? Maybe I wish they had like Bills jerseys or something like that, like the ones that Casey Middlestat wore, that they could wear one night a season, 2 nights a season. That'll get butts and seats, right?
Yeah, I know a lot of people would try like starting the shout song at Sabres games, at least like going a few years back, and I know a lot of people would be like get upset with it.
Really?
So
Okay.
yeah, well, because it's like, I don't know. Sometimes like I feel like there's a lot of Sabres fans too that are like, hockey's got like this unique fan culture. There's some like fans of teams that are like very like anti like the popular sports, so they'll be like, oh yeah, I only watch like the Sabres, or like I only watch the Niagara Ice Dogs. I don't care about anything else. Like I feel like hockey's got this like culture to it where it's like
It's
that more so than NFL, where NFL is like the biggest commercial product out there.
Well, that's kind of my thought process when people will be like, I'm not trying to go into like a bashing spree, but like when people talk about Terry Pagula, they're like, well, the Bills are good. I'm like, well, not everyone's a football fan. So like
Yeah.
if they only like watching hockey and the Sabres are their team, what are they getting out of this? The team they don't care about, which they probably, if you're in Buffalo, you probably care about the Bills, but there's a couple people, that
Oh
don't.
yeah,
So that's a bummer.
there's a lot of Sabres fans that follow me too that are, we got Dolphins Sabres fans, I got Browns Sabres fans that I've met. Like there's a wide variety, and I guess I'm like it too in some sports where it's like I'm like a Cleveland Cavaliers fan and a Cleveland Guardians fan, but I don't like the Cleveland Browns, obviously. So
Yeah,
I
it's
like,
funny.
depending on people's fandom, it's mixed in. So yeah, I guess in that sense, yeah, that's probably why some people would also like to keep the shout songs separate. Because yeah, I guess
Yeah,
not everybody is always a Bills fan as
that's
well as a
fair.
Sabres fan.
Exactly. Yeah, like believe it or not, I'm a Phillies fan. But I could, if the Flyers went 0-82, I'd be a happy guy. And if the Eagles went
Yeah,
0-16, 17, I'd be like, okay, cool. I don't care. Like, I want to see the Flyers lose. Eagles, I don't really care about, but I'm actually a Phillies fan, believe it or not. So yeah, just stuff like that. Shout is a Bills thing. We should have a few that are just Sabres things. Well, might be having every time we touch be a Sabres thing, but let me
I
clear
mean
my throat. Kind of feels like that as well,
they don't
maybe.
embrace the Sabres things. Like I was like, I don't know if it's just like the Mandela effect, but I'm pretty sure like they don't play Sabre dance at Sabres games anymore. Like I think a lot of people hear it on the radio broadcast and think they still play it at Sabres games. Like I'm not sure if they even still
Okay.
play that. But yeah, I mean that's like such like you hear that song when they're coming out on the ice, and like that's like a hockey night in Buffalo. So I just feel like they don't really embrace like the unique Sabres things, and even like the Sabres on the warpath chant too. Like that's always really cool too. I mean, I know they haven't been that great, but like that's something that's like uniquely Sabres, and I feel like they don't have to try to reinvent the wheel with Sabres fandom. Like just go back to the stuff that's like, somewhat traditional to being a Sabres fan.
Man, if we could turn that barn into like a European soccer club with all the chants and like for specific guys, and chanting for the coach and stuff like that. I've always found that very interesting, and just seems fun.
Yeah.
Fun atmosphere. So hopefully, the Sabres, again, this is not the fans need to show up for the team. No, no, no. We're way past that. The team needs to show up
Yeah.
for the fans, and then the fans will start showing up. You might not even get butts in seats. If you have a really good season, you still might not get butts in seats until they are
I
locked
mean,
for the playoffs, because everyone's
it's
been
been
like, this
like
has been
that.
14 years.
Yeah, like I'm thinking back to, pre-COVID, even 2019-20, that Sabres team is off to a pretty good start.
Mhm.
And they still weren't selling out some early season games. Like even against teams like Montreal, which usually gets a lot of Canadian fans, they
Yep.
still weren't selling out a game like that. So yeah, I guess like the fan reaction, it lags really far behind the actual team results. Like it'll
Yeah.
take this team being good probably throughout the entire season, or at least more than half of it, to start consistently getting close to selling out games.
I remember last year when I had that slight thing, what the Phillies fans, which of course now I'm talking about the Phillies all the time now, what the Phillies fans did with Trey Turner when he was really struggling, where they he got up to bat and they just got standing ovation, because they're like, look, we could either boo this guy because he's playing like crap, or we can get behind this guy. And I was like, well, maybe what if we do that for the Sabres? And I remember you were pretty much just like, no.
Yeah.
And I was like, after I said that, I was just like, nah. I gave you guys about 5 seconds of leniency, but no, I mean, you guys have to show the performance. And that's kind of like the same thing with my prediction for the playoffs. It's like, again, I can be an optimist, but we've been burned by this how many years? You guys have to show it for me to give you more than like a 50% chance to make the playoffs. So it's a lot of just show
Yeah.
me stuff. It's a talk is cheap, show me. Well, they said that last year, talk was cheap, show me. They showed me that they couldn't win within 13 games, and they weren't going to do jack what about it. So show me, but show me the wins. Show me the game where you're like, oh crap, we were supposed to lose that, but we forced overtime, got a loser's point, or even scratched out 2 points, kind of thing. So that's my mindset going into the season. Of course, going to support the team, want them to do incredibly well, but we're vocal for a reason. Fans are vocal for a reason. People are negative for a reason, not just out of nowhere. So that's just something I wanted to kind of get off my chest. So for any reason, we're not the most positive, happy-go-lucky people after they start 0-3-2 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean that's really the difference too between like you brought up, like the Phillies or even like someone like the Bills, where it's like if you've seen like these group of guys like do well in that uniform, you're so much more willing to give them the benefit of the doubt than guys who've never done it before. Like when you have a team that's consistently in the playoffs and they struggle for a little bit, you're like,
Yeah.
all right, let's cheer these guys on. Let's get them back on track. But if
Exactly.
you've never seen, like we've never seen any of these Sabres players play in a playoff game in a Sabres uniform. So
No.
it's like it's so much easy for things to kind of turn sour on this group compared to a team that's well respected in their city.
Absolutely. I have 2 more things to get through. Matthew, appreciate you coming in, even as a Rangers fan. But Yarmo or Eric Stahl replacing someone. If Eric Stahl replaces Kevin Adams, if they don't do well and he replaces him as GM,
Yeah.
I will throw up on camera. Yarmo Kekalainen,
Yeah.
that's your normal thought process. If things don't go well, Kevin Adams, see ya. Yarmo's coming in, because they're probably not going to get rid of Lindy. So it's Kevin Adams' job to lose there. So, and then Yarmo would be the one that steps in. And then the last one, it's a perfect way to end this episode. Again, appreciate everyone coming out. We're really looking forward to this season. Really love, when people come in and are commenting, and we're having fun. Lets me be a little bit more wacky than I usually am during kind of like a structured episode. As you probably could tell, as you can see, Walt's kind of bouncing off the walls over there too. I've had to calm him down a few times, but we're good. Last thing, we will like any goal song if they win. Just win. I don't care what the goal song is. It could be from the Wiggles or, from Barney. I don't care what the goal song is. Just win. Any other thoughts, Walt, before we hop off for the night?
Yeah, I think, just saying that just one thing, I wanted to bring this up, but I feel like starting off well in that home opener is huge, or their season opener as well, because I mean, I'm just thinking about last season, like that New Jersey game, that was just like a complete BS game from the Sabres. Like they came out, it didn't even look like they were trying. That's how bad they played. And you could say the same thing about that Rangers game, like the year before,
Yep.
where they opened their season, just came out completely flat, just completely got outclassed by the Rangers. So I think just coming out hot, this home opener will be huge because you need to start off hot. Like we said, it's a game by game season. Like you just need to not, dip below that threshold too far. Just stay alive. So when you get hot, it actually matters. So yeah, I think this home opener, this sets the momentum for the first few games of the season, and they need to come out and just play competent hockey. Like I don't even think, I honestly don't even think you have to win that game. Like if you come out and just play a great hockey game, like that's fine enough with me. Just don't come out and not show up.
Yeah. Hair on fire. You got to come out flying, and especially if you come out flying in the first period, you have no excuse to sleepwalk through the second and third and stuff like that. So look, we're going to be alongside everyone watching this together. Really looking forward to that. Again, Thursday live stream, probably starting right before 7 p.m. Then they'll do their introductions. We'll see how that goes, and we'll be commenting all the way.
Forgot
So
about
again,
that.
oh yeah, get ready. Looking forward to it. So again, for Bill and Walt here at the Sabremetrix podcast, thank you for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one.